The dead still speak. Warrior, let me put out a warning. This may be tough to listen to, but then again, everything we talk about here on the Warriors channel is difficult to listen to. But listen up and listen good, because this is a national crisis. This is something that everyone needs to work harder on, raise more awareness, talk to each other, talk to the kids. What are we talking about? We are talking about fentanyl. Fentanyl, usually described as, a dangerous drug. Well, I'm here to tell you that fentanyl is a poison. This is the poisoning of America. This is the poisoning of our children, especially 15 to 19-year-olds are being poisoned. It is flowing freely across our open U.S. borders. Manufactured in China, brought into Mexico. They are working Mexico and China hand in hand in just bringing it by the truckloads, whatever you want to call it, into the United States. Now, you may have heard in the media a little bit of talk about fentanyl here and there, have seen something online. This is a subject matter that needs to be discussed 24/7, 365, because this is war. We have a war going on right here on our American soil, and it is the deadly fentanyl. It is a chemical. It is being cut into, at last count, 85% plus of all the illicit drugs on the market. If it's 85% plus that we know about, does that mean it's 100%? Could be. We just don't know. Let me tell you what's happening on Saturday, July 13th in Washington, D.C. And I want to remind everybody, it's we the people. It is time for us to become much more involved. You see what's happening all around us. You see that nobody is really fighting for you, for your children. Oh, sure, we'll work on legislation. We will pound away at that. There are some very good people in Congress working on things. Again, bipartisan. All bipartisan issues, belongs to no political party. But the truth of the matter right now in America, while everybody's got their minds and mouths and on that national crisis, our kids are being poisoned. Is it intentional? Sure seems that way. Does it seem like China is doing this to us on purpose? Sure seems that way. So why aren't we in the streets fighting more for our children? But on July 13th, thousands will be descending on Washington, D.C. for the 4th annual Fentanyl Rally. This is sponsored by the Lost Voices of Fentanyl. I'm going to have all the information in the body of this video, lvof.org. Started by, this is the tough part to talk about. This bereaved mother, April Babcock, and I am, as we speak, setting up an interview with her, which will be happening in a day or two here on the Warriors channel. But I want to get a jump start because we have 1 week and 1 day until this tremendous rally. It's actually the 4th one. But I bet you anything, this is the first time you're hearing about this. And it starts on Saturday, July 13th, 10 a.m. It's going to go all day, 10 a.m. to 7. We're going to be meeting at the Washington Monument. You will not believe the amount of parents that show up holding pictures of their children, wearing T-shirts of their children, dead. We are speaking for the dead children because it seems everybody comes together after the fact. We need to intervene now. So many of these cases, April Babcock, her son died. Then she met another mom, Virginia Krieger, whose daughter took what she thought was a Percocet. Fentanyl, died. These mothers came together and they formed Lost Voices of Fentanyl. How they have the strength. But when there's tragedy, some people find the strength a lot of people do, in helping others. Their goal is to raise awareness so this does not happen to your child. We know that so much of this should be taught in the school systems, churches, places of worship, whatever you want to call it. And it's just not. But our good friends of Border 911, Derek Maltz, you've seen him here a couple of times on the Warriors, a former DEA agent, is a big part of this, along with the Border 911 group. And they're going to be there We are going to be fighting this. We are going to be raising awareness. We are going to be marching. We are going to be having speeches. We are going to get the word fentanyl and demand of our leaders that they take more appropriate actions. It is no longer good enough. Fentanyl is bad. Yes, we know that. Human trafficking is bad. Yes, we know that. Okay. It is time for resources. It is time for solutions. That is not changing the talking about how bad everything is. We want concrete action. How are we going to get that? Our hashtag at the Warriors is community creates change. So what can you do? Right now, currently, there are about 30 states that have signed up to participate in the march on July 13th. At our national monument down in Washington, we want to get all 50 states. And I have no doubt you're going to hear me, you're going to hear Derek Maltz, you're going to hear April Babcock. How? How can our elected officials, how can our public turn their backs and not listen to these mothers, fathers, family members whose children have died? Again, this is especially a warrior on our teens, not realizing it's very simple. If you don't get a medication from a pharmacy, you cannot take it. You just cannot take it. Kids are buying today on Snapchat, 2 clicks, they're buying drugs, having them delivered to their back door, picking them up on the corner. It should be shut down. Where's the big tech accountability for allowing this predation on these platforms, killing our kids? But those pills they're getting on Snapchat and some other platforms, we know there's a great likelihood they are cut somehow with fentanyl. The vaping, fentanyl. So you think all this is harmless? And what do our kids see? The legalization of marijuana. I'm here in New York City. It smells like one big pot. I don't even know what the smell is, but it's a horrible, putrid, burning of my lips smell. And I think to myself, thank goodness my children aren't babies or little kids right now that I'm walking around with, and they're smelling this. And so our kids are seeing this. What do I always tell you? All of this is being normalized, this destruction. But fentanyl, it is a war on our American children, on all people, but particularly our children. And people should be out in the streets screaming for this. But you know what we're going to do? We are going to come together on Saturday, July 13th in Washington, D.C. We are going to rally. We are going to raise awareness. And we are going to share stories and resources and push and pull on our elected officials to take action. I also want to point out here in New York City, there's going to be a Times Square takeover on August 21st. That is the day being called Fentanyl Awareness Day around the United States. So we're going to go heavy into this because clearly we've heard so much discussion about wars in other places around the world when we have it right here in our own backyards in the United States of America. Protect our children. Community creates change. Stand up with these parents and family members who have lost children and are not being given the appropriate attention, funding, resources, media attention. Join us. Remember each and every day. Hug your kids. Talk to your kids. Talk to them about these drugs. Again, a reminder, we know about 85% plus. I don't know what the plus means because that could mean 100, right? Of these illicit drugs are cut with fentanyl, a poison, not a drug. It is a chemical poison coming out of China, intentionally poisoning us, ruining our future adults, killing them, our future leaders. Think about it. Again, I have all the information for the rally, for Lost Voices of Fentanyl, for the Times Square takeover. Everything will be in the body of this video, including Border 911, because remember, if we don't close our borders, it's all coming right over. So we have a lot of work to do as a community, but you're going to join us because each and every day, what do I remind you to do? Go out and be a warrior.